Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. I'm truly excited to have you here. Whether you're joining for the first time or you've been following along for a while, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. In this video, we're going to dive into some valuable insights that I hope will inspire, inform, and maybe even surprise you. My goal is to make this space a place where we can learn, grow, and enjoy the journey together. So get comfortable, stay tuned, and let's jump right into it. Thank you again for being here. Let's get started. If you enjoy my style and the content I create, it would mean a lot to me if you hit the subscribe button. Your support helps me keep making videos like this, and I truly appreciate having you as part of this community. My sister left her baby with me for one night. She never came back. Okay, so I gotta tell you about the craziest thing that ever happened to me, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say it completely turned my whole life upside down. Like one day, I'm just living my normal, boring life, and the next day, I'm basically a parent to my nephew, and I had zero preparation for any of it. None. Zilch. So let me back up a bit and give you some context here, because you're going to need it to understand just how wild this whole situation is. My sister Emma and I, we've always been close, like not in that perfect TV show kind of way where sisters braid each other's hair and share secrets every night. No, we fought like crazy when we were kids, pulled each other's hair, stole each other's clothes, the whole nine yards. But as we got older, especially after our parents passed away, we really only had each other. So we got tight. You know what I mean? She was my person and I was hers. Emma's about 5 years older than me, and she'd always been the wild one in the family. I'm talking like the one who'd sneak out at 2 a.m. to go to parties, the one who dated guys our parents hated, the one who dropped out of college after one semester because she said it was stifling her creativity. That kind of wild. But I loved her for it, honestly. She made life interesting, and she was always so full of energy in life, Like she could light up a whole room just by walking into it. Anyway, about 3 years ago, Emma calls me up out of nowhere, and she's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm just sitting there with my phone pressed to my ear, completely frozen, because this was not something I expected to hear at all. She'd been dating this guy named Marcus for maybe 6 months at that point, and I'd met him like twice, and he seemed, I don't know, kind of sketchy. Like he was always looking at his phone and being all secretive and stuff, but Emma was head over heels for him, so what was I going to say, right? So she has the baby, this adorable little boy she names Tyler. And for a while, things seem okay. I mean, Emma was struggling, don't get me wrong. Being a single mom is hard as hell, and Marcus had basically bailed the second she told him she was keeping the baby. Typical, right? But she was trying, and I was so proud of her for that. She's got a job waiting tables at this diner downtown, and she found a tiny apartment in a not great neighborhood, but it was hers, and she was making it work. I'd go visit her and Tyler every couple weeks, bring groceries, help out with whatever she needed. Tyler was the cutest baby ever. I swear to God, he had these big brown eyes and the chubbiest little cheeks, and he'd grab onto my finger with his tiny hand and just squeeze, and my heart would literally melt every single time. I'm not even a baby person usually, but this kid, he was special. But I could tell Emma was getting overwhelmed. Every time I saw her, she looked more tired, more stressed out. She'd lost a bunch of weight, and not in a good way, like in that I'm so stressed I forget to eat kind of way. And she was snapping at me more, getting irritated over little things that never used to bother her. I tried to talk to her about it a few times, asked if she needed help, if she wanted me to watch Tyler more often, but she'd always brush me off and say she was fine. Classic Emma, always trying to handle everything on her own. So then we get to that night. The night that changed everything. It was a Thursday, I remember, because I'd just gotten home from work and I was planning to order pizza and binge watch some trashy reality TV show, just a normal, chill evening. And my doorbell rings around 7 o'clock, and I'm thinking maybe it's a delivery or something, but I open the door, and there's Emma standing there with Tyler in her arms and this huge diaper bag slung over her shoulder. And the first thing I notice is that she looks different, like really different. She's got makeup on, which she never wears, and her hair's all done up nice, and she's wearing this dress that I've never seen before. And she's got this weird energy about her, like
She's nervous or excited or something. I can't quite put my finger on it. "Hey," she says, all chipper and bright, pushing past me into my apartment. "I am so sorry to do this last minute, but I really, really need you to watch Tyler tonight. Just for one night. I promise. I'll be back tomorrow morning to pick him up, I swear." And I'm just standing there like, okay, what's going on? Where are you going? And she gets all weird and evasive, you know? She's like, "Oh, I just have this thing I gotta take care of. It's important. Work stuff." But she won't look me in the eye when she says it, and I know Emma well enough to know when she's lying to me. Plus, since when does a waitressing job at a diner require you to get all dolled up and leave your bobby overnight? But before I can ask her any more questions, she's already setting Tyler down in his carrier on my couch and dumping the diaper bag on the floor. Okay, so there's bottles in here and diapers and his pajamas and his favorite blanket, the blue one. He won't sleep without it. Oh, and he usually goes down around 8:30, but sometimes he fights it, so you might have to rock him for a bit. And Emma, slow down, I say, because she's talking a mile a minute and barely breathing between sentences. What's really going on? This doesn't feel like just a work thing. And she finally stops and looks at me. And for just a second, I see something in her eyes. Fear, maybe? Or guilt? I don't know. But then she plasters on this big smile and gives me a hug. And she's like, "Everything's fine, I promise. I'll explain everything tomorrow. I just really need you to trust me right now, okay? Can you do that for me?" And what am I supposed to say to that? She's my sister, and she's asking me to help her out. Of course I'm going to say yes. So I nod, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I got him. You go do whatever you got to do." She kisses Tyler on the forehead, whispers something to him that I can't hear, and then she's out the door before I can even think of anything else to ask her. And I'm just standing there in my apartment with a 6-month-old baby thinking, well, this should be interesting. I gotta be honest, I wasn't too worried at that point. I figured Emma was probably going on a date or something and didn't want to tell me because she knew I'd give her grief about leaving Tyler for a guy. Which, yeah, I totally would have. But I figured she'd be back in the morning like she said, we'd have a laugh about it, and everything would go back to normal. Yeah, I had no idea. That night went, okay, I guess. Tyler was pretty chill for the most part. We hung out on the couch for a bit, and I let him play with my phone because he was obsessed with the bright screen, and then I fed him one of the bottles Emma had packed. He made this adorable little face when he was drinking, like he was concentrating so hard on it, and I couldn't help but smile. Getting him to sleep was a bit tougher. He cried for like 20 minutes straight, and I tried everything. Rocking him, singing to him, walking around the apartment with him. I even tried playing some white noise on my phone that I found on YouTube, and that seemed to help a little. Eventually, he conked out around 9, and I put him down in my bed, because I didn't have a crib or anything, and I surrounded him with pillows so he wouldn't roll off. Probably not the safest thing in the world, but I was doing my best, you know?
I barely slept that night because I kept waking up every hour to check on him and make sure he was still breathing. Is that normal? I feel like that's normal. Babies are so tiny and fragile, it's terrifying. The next morning rolls around, and Tyler wakes up around 6:30, screaming his little head off. I stumble out of bed, change his diaper, which was a whole adventure in itself, let me tell you, and give him another bottle. And then I wait for Emma to show up. 7 o'clock comes and goes, then 8, and then 9. I try calling her around 9:30, and it goes straight to voicemail. I try texting her. Nothing. I try calling again. Voicemail again. Now I'm starting to get worried. By noon, I'm full-on panicking. I've called her like 15 times, sent probably 30 texts, and nothing. Radio silence. I even tried calling the diner where she works, and they tell me she hasn't shown up for her shift in 2 days. 2 days! And she didn't tell me that? I don't know what to do. I'm sitting on my couch with Tyler in my lap, and he's looking up at me with those big, innocent eyes, and I'm thinking, where the hell is your mom? What am I supposed to do here? I spend the whole weekend trying to get a hold of her. I even drive over to her apartment on Saturday afternoon, and when I knock on the door, nobody answers. I peek through the window, and everything looks normal inside, but there's no sign of Emma. Her car's not in the parking lot either. It's like she just vanished into thin air.
By Monday morning, I'm seriously considering calling the police and filing a missing persons report. But part of me is holding back because what if Emma just needed some space or something? What if she's going through something and she'll come back when she's ready? I don't want to make things worse by getting the cops involved if there's a reasonable explanation for all this. But days turn into weeks, and I still haven't heard a single word from her. Nothing. It's like my sister just completely disappeared off the face of the earth, and I'm left holding the bag. Or in this case, holding her baby. And that's when reality really starts to set in. Like, I've got a 6-month-old baby that I'm now fully responsible for, and I have no idea what I'm doing. None. I don't know the first thing about raising a kid. I'm 25 years old. I work full-time as a graphic designer. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and my idea of a home-cooked meal is heating up frozen pizza. How am I supposed to take care of a baby? But what choice do I have? I can't exactly drop Tyler off at a fire station or call child services. He's my nephew. He's family. And until Emma comes back, if she comes back, he's my responsibility. So I do what I gotta do. I call my boss and explain the situation, and thankfully she's super understanding and lets me work from home for a while. I go out and buy a crib and a high chair and like a million other baby things that I didn't even know existed. I watch YouTube videos on how to properly change diapers and how to burp a baby and what milestones he should be hitting at his age. I join online parenting forums and ask 1,000 questions to complete strangers who probably think I'm an idiot. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Hands down. There are days where I'm so exhausted I can barely see straight, where Tyler won't stop crying no matter what I do, where I'm covered in spit up and I haven't showered in 3 days, and I just break down and cry right along with him. But there are also these moments, these little perfect moments where Tyler smiles at me or laughs at something silly I do, or when he falls asleep in my arms and he's so peaceful and warm. And I think, okay, I can do this. We're gonna be okay. 3 months go by, then 6, then a year. And still, nothing from Emma. No calls, no texts, no surprise visit at my door. It's like she never existed. I hire a private investigator at one point, spend a bunch of money I don't really have, and he digs around for a few weeks but comes up empty. Emma's not using her credit card, she's not active on social media, she hasn't contacted any of her old friends. She's just gone. And I'm angry, I'm so incredibly angry at her for doing this to me, for dumping her kid and disappearing without a word. But I'm also worried sick about her. Because what if something bad happened? What if she's hurt somewhere or worse? What if she didn't leave by choice?
But as time goes on, I start to accept that this is my life now. Tyler is my kid now, even if he's not technically mine. I'm the one getting up with him in the middle of the night when he has nightmares. I'm the one teaching him how to walk and how to talk. I'm the one taking him to the doctor when he's sick and reading him bedtime stories and celebrating his birthdays. I'm his mom now, even though I never signed up for it. And here's the thing. Somewhere along the way, I fell completely in love with this kid. Like, head over heels, would do anything for him, can't imagine my life without him kind of love. He calls me mama now, and every time he says it, my heart just melts into a puddle. But I still think about Emma every single day. I still wonder where she is, what happened to her, if she's okay. I still wonder if she thinks about Tyler, if she regrets leaving him, if she'll ever come back. And I guess I'm telling you all of this because I need to get it off my chest, Because this secret, this weight, it's been sitting on my shoulders for years now, and sometimes it feels like it's crushing me. I never told anyone the full story. Everyone thinks Tyler's mine, that I'm just a single mom doing her best, and I let them think that because it's easier than explaining the truth. It's easier than admitting that my sister abandoned her baby with me and never looked back. But the truth is, I don't know what happened to Emma. I don't know where she went or why she left, and I don't know if I'll ever find out. All I know is that I've got this amazing little boy who calls me mama, and I'm going to do everything in my power to give him the best life possible, no matter what. Even if his real mom never comes back. So fast forward to now, right? Tyler's about to turn 4 years old, and he's this hilarious, energetic little tornado of a kid who never stops moving and never stops asking questions. Seriously, the questions never end. Why is the sky blue? Where do birds sleep? Can I have a cookie?
That last one's not really a question so much as a constant negotiation, but you get the idea. Life has settled into this routine that feels almost normal now. I wake up at 6:30, get Tyler ready for preschool, drop him off at 8, work from home until 3, pick him up, make dinner, do the whole bath and bedtime routine, and then collapse on the couch with a glass of wine and whatever show I'm binge watching that week. It's exhausting and chaotic, and sometimes I want to pull my hair out, but it's also kind of beautiful, you know? Like, I created this life for us, and we're doing okay. But here's where things get complicated again. Because Tyler's starting to ask questions about his family, about where he came from, and I don't know what to tell him. Like, a few months ago, we're at the park, and he sees this little girl with her mom and dad, and they're all playing together, and Tyler turns to me and goes, "Mama, where's my daddy?" And my heart just drops into my stomach, because I knew this conversation was coming eventually, but I wasn't ready for it, not even close. I sit down on the bench and pull him onto my lap, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain this in a way that a 3-year-old can understand. So I tell him, "Well, buddy, your daddy isn't around right now, but you've got me, and I love you more than anything in the whole world." And he thinks about this for a second, and then he goes, "Okay." And he runs off to play on the slide. Just like that. Kids are so resilient. But I know that's not going to be the end of it. Eventually, he's going to ask more questions, harder questions, and I'm going to have to figure out what to tell him about Emma. Do I tell him the truth? Do I make something up? Do I wait until he's older and can handle it better? I don't know. I really don't know. And then just when I think I've got everything figured out, just when I think maybe this is just how things are going to be forever, something happens that turns everything upside down all over again. It's a Tuesday afternoon, totally normal day. I've just picked Tyler up from preschool, and we're walking to the car, and he's telling me how he painted a picture of a dinosaur in art class, and it's going to be hung up in the hallway for everyone to see. And I'm smiling and nodding and telling him how proud I am, because I genuinely am. This kid's got some serious artistic talent. We get home, and I'm making him a snack, apple slices with peanut butter, his favorite, when there's a knock at the door. Now, I'm not expecting anyone. I don't really have people just dropping by unannounced anymore, because my whole social life kind of went out the window when I became an instant parent. So I'm a little confused, but I wipe my hands on a towel and go to answer it. And when I open that door, I swear to God, I feel like I've been punched in the gut.
It's Emma, my sister, standing on my doorstep after 4 years of absolutely nothing. She looks different. Older, obviously, but also just different. Her hair's shorter, cut into this bob that actually looks really good on her. She's gained some weight back, which is good because she was way too skinny last time I saw her. She's wearing jeans and a nice blouse, and she's got this nervous smile on her face, like she's not sure if I'm going to slam the door in her face or hug her. Honestly, I'm not sure either. For a solid 10 seconds, we just stand there staring at each other. My brain is going a million miles an hour, trying to process what I'm seeing, trying to figure out if this is real or if I'm hallucinating or what. And then she speaks. "Hey, Jess," she says, and her voice is shaky, like she's about to cry. I know I have a lot to explain. Can I come in?" I don't know what to say. There are about 1,000 things I want to scream at her, 1,000 questions I want to demand answers to, but my voice doesn't seem to be working properly, so I just step aside and let her in. She walks into my apartment, and her eyes immediately go to Tyler, who's sitting at the kitchen table with his apple slices, swinging his little legs and humming to himself. And I watch her face just crumble, like she starts crying right there, these big tears just screaming down her face, and she puts her hand over her mouth like she's trying to hold it together but can't. "Oh my God," she whispers. "He's so big. He's gotten so big." Tyler looks up at her, and he's got this confused expression on his face because he has no idea who this lady is or why she's crying in our living room. He looks at me like, "Mama, who's this?" And that's when Emma really loses it. She hears him call me Mama, and she just breaks down sobbing, and I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to comfort her because she's my sister and she's clearly going through something.
But the other part of me is furious because she doesn't get to just show up after 4 years and cry about missing out on Tyler's life when she's the one who left. Tyler, honey, why don't you go play in your room for a bit? I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Take your snack with you, okay? He nods and slides off his chair, grabbing his plate and heading down the hallway to his room. I wait until I hear his door close, and then I turn to Emma. What the hell, Em? I say, and my voice comes out way harsher than I intended, but I can't help it. What the hell? She's still crying, wiping at her face with her hands. I know, Jess. I'm so sorry. Sorry? I'm practically yelling now, even though I'm trying to keep it down so Tyler doesn't hear. You're sorry? You left your baby with me for one night and disappeared for 4 years, and all you have to say is you're sorry? I know it's not enough, she says, and she's shaking now. Like her whole body is trembling. I know nothing I say is going to make this okay, but please, Jess, please just let me explain. I need you to understand what happened. I cross my arms under my chest because I feel like I need some kind of physical barrier between us right now. Fine, explain. This better be good. She takes a deep breath and then she starts talking. And what she tells me? I couldn't have made this up if I tried. Apparently, that night when she dropped Tyler off, she wasn't going to a work thing. She was going to meet Marcus. Yeah, Tyler's deadbeat dad, the guy who bailed on her when she got pregnant. Turns out he'd been calling her for weeks, saying he wanted to talk, that he'd made a mistake leaving her, that he wanted to be a family. And Emma, being Emma, believed him. She thought maybe this was her chance to give Tyler a real family, to have the life she had always wanted. So she got all dressed up and went to meet him at this bar downtown. Except Marcus didn't want to talk about being a family. He wanted money. A lot of money. See, Marcus had gotten himself into some serious trouble with some seriously bad people. They owed him like 50 grand or something insane like that, and they were threatening him, saying they were going to hurt him if he didn't pay up. And he thought Emma could help him. I don't know where he got that idea, because Emma was broke as hell, but desperate people don't think straight, I guess. When Emma told him she didn't have any money, he lost it. Started yelling at her, making a scene in the bar. And then these guys showed up, the guys Marcus owed money to, and things got really ugly really fast.
Emma says she tried to leave, but one of the guys grabbed her arm and told her that if Marcus couldn't pay, then she was going to have to pay instead. And she freaked out, obviously, and managed to pull away and run out of the bar. But here's the thing. She knew they'd come looking for her. She knew they'd find her apartment, and if she was there with Tyler, they'd use him to get to her, to get money she didn't have. So she ran. She got in her car and just started driving. No plan, no destination, just away. She ended up in Arizona, of all places, staying at some cheap motel and working under the table at a gas station. She was too scared to use her phone or her credit cards because she thought those guys might be tracking her somehow. She says she thought about reaching out to me every single day, but she was terrified that if she did, she'd put me and Tyler in danger. She thought the best thing she could do for him was stay away, let him be safe with me where those guys couldn't find him. It took her 3 years to finally feel safe enough to come back. 3 years of looking over her shoulder, of working multiple jobs to save up money, of trying to figure out how to fix the mess Marcus had made. She says Marcus eventually got arrested for something unrelated, and the guys he owed money to kind of forgot about the whole thing because it wasn't worth their time anymore. And that's when she started trying to find the courage to come back, to face what she'd done. By the time she finishes talking, we're both crying. I'm sitting on the couch with tears streaming down my face, and she's sitting on the floor with her knees pulled up to her chest, looking like a scared little kid. I didn't abandon him because I didn't want him, she says, and her voice is so small and broken. I left because I thought it was the only way to keep him safe. I know that doesn't make it okay. I know I should have found another way, but I was so scared, Jess. I was so scared. And I believe her. God help me, I believe her. Because I know my sister, and I know she wouldn't have left Tyler unless she thought she had to. She made a stupid, impulsive, terrible decision, but she thought she was protecting him.
But that doesn't change the fact that I've been raising her son for 4 years. That doesn't change the fact that Tyler thinks I'm his mom. That doesn't change any of it. What do you want, Emma? I ask, and I'm so tired suddenly. Like all the anger and confusion and emotion has just drained every bit of energy out of me. Why are you here? She looks up at me, and there's so much hope and fear in her eyes. I want to be in his life again. I want to be his mom. I know I don't deserve it. I know I have no right to ask, but he's my son, Jess. I've missed so much already. I don't want to miss any more. And that's when I realized that this situation just got way more complicated than I ever could have imagined. Because what am I supposed to do here? Tyler doesn't even know who Emma is. To him, I'm his mom. I'm the only parent he's ever really known. Am I supposed to just, introduce him to the stranger and tell him she's his real mother? How do I even begin to explain that? And what about me? What about the 4 years I've spent raising him, loving him, building a life with him? Do I just hand him back over to Emma now that she's decided it's safe to come back? Do I have any legal rights here? He's not technically mine, but he's mine in every way that actually matters. I look at Emma and I can see how much she's hurting, how much she regrets what happened, but I'm hurting too, and confused, and I don't know what the right thing to do is. I need time, I finally say. I need time to figure this out, to figure out what's best for Tyler. You can't just walk back into his life like nothing happened. He doesn't know you. This is going to be really hard for him, and I need to make sure we do this the right way. Emma nods, wiping at her eyes. Okay, whatever you think is best. I'll do whatever you want, whatever you think is right for him. Can I see him? Just for a minute? I hesitate because I'm not sure this is a good idea, but I also know I can't say no. So I get up and go to Tyler's room, and I knock softly on the door before opening it. He's sitting on the floor playing with his dinosaur toys, making them roar and stomp around. He looks up at me with that big smile, and my heart just aches. Hey, buddy, I say, sitting down next to him. There's someone I want you to meet. Her name is Emma, and she's a friend of mine. Is it okay if she comes in and says hi? He shrugs, already turning back to his dinosaurs. Okay. I wave Emma in, and she comes into the room slowly, like she's afraid she might scare him off. She sits down on the floor a few feet from him, and she's trying so hard not to cry again. Hi, Tyler, she says softly. Those are some cool dinosaurs you've got there. He looks up at her, checking her out with that suspicious look kids get when they meet new people. Thanks. This one's a T-Rex. He's the strongest. That's awesome, Emma says, and her voice is shaking. I love dinosaurs. The T-Rex is my favorite, too. They talk for a few minutes about his toys, and I watch Emma just drinking in every detail of him, like she's trying to memorize his face, his voice, everything about him. And Tyler's being his usual charming self, showing off his toys and telling her random facts about dinosaurs that he probably learned from some TV show. After about 10 minutes, I tell Emma it's time to go, that Tyler needs to get ready for dinner. She nods and stands up, and she tells Tyler it was nice to meet you. And he says bye, all cheerful, and goes back to playing. Emma and I go back out into the living room, and she's crying again, but quieter this time. Thank you, she whispers. Thank you for letting me see him. He's perfect, Jess. You've done such an amazing job with him. I don't know what to say to that, so I just nod. Can I come back? Maybe in a few days? I don't want to push, but I need to be part of his life, however that looks, whatever you're comfortable with. Please. I sigh, running my hair through my hair. Yeah, you can come back. But we need to figure this out properly, okay? We need to maybe talk to a lawyer or a therapist or someone who knows how to handle this kind of situation. Because I don't want to mess Tyler up by doing this wrong. Absolutely, she says quickly. Whatever you think is best. I'll do whatever you want, whatever you think is right for him.
She gives me her new phone number and I walk her to the door. Before she leaves, she turns back and looks at me, and there are fresh tears in her eyes. I really am sorry, Jess, for everything. I know sorry doesn't fix it, but I need you to know that leaving him was the hardest thing I ever did, and not a day went by that I didn't think about him, about both of you. I nod because I don't trust myself to speak without crying again. And then she's gone, and I'm standing in my apartment feeling like a hurricane just blew through and left everything scattered and broken. I lean against the door and close my eyes, trying to steady my breathing, trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do now. Mama? Tyler's voice comes from behind me, and I turn to see him standing in the hallway with his dinosaur in his hand. Are you sad? I force a smile and shake my head. No, baby, I'm okay. Just a little tired. You hungry? Let's make some dinner. He nods and runs to the kitchen, already chattering about how he wants mac and cheese, and I follow him, trying to push all the chaos in my head aside for now.
But that night, after Tyler's in bed and the apartment is quiet, I sit on the couch with a glass of wine and I just let myself fall apart. I cry for all the years of stress and worry and fear, for all the questions that have haunted me about where Emma was and what happened to her. I cry because I finally got answers, but the answers don't make things easier. They make things so much more complicated. And I cry because I'm scared. I'm scared of what's going to happen next, scared of losing Tyler, scared of making the wrong decision and hurting him. But most of all, I'm scared because deep down, in a place I don't want to admit exists, I'm angry that Emma came back at all. And that makes me feel like a terrible person. Over the next few weeks, Emma starts coming by regularly. At first, it's just once or twice a week, and the visits are short, maybe an hour or so. She plays with Tyler, reads him books, slowly starts building a relationship with him. And I watch all of this happening, and it's so bittersweet, you know? Because on one hand, I can see how happy it makes Emma to be with him. And Tyler's a friendly kid. He warms up to people pretty easily, so he starts to really like her. He doesn't understand who she really is yet. He just thinks she's this nice lady who comes over to play with him sometimes. But on the other hand, every time I see them together, I feel this knot in my stomach, this fear that one day Emma's going to want to take him back full time, and I'm going to have to let him go. I finally bite the bullet and schedule an appointment with a family lawyer because I need to know where I stand legally, and what she tells me is not great. Basically, since Emma never officially gave up her parental rights and I never officially adopted Tyler, Emma still has full legal custody of him. If she wanted to, she could take him right now, and there's nothing I could do about it. The lawyer says my best bet is to try to work out some kind of informal custody arrangement with Emma or push for her to agree to a formal split custody situation. But ultimately, if Emma wants Tyler back and I try to fight her, I'm probably going to lose. That's a hard pill to swallow, let me tell you. When I talk to Emma about it, she's really understanding, actually. She says she doesn't want to take Tyler away from me, that she can see how much I love him and how good I've been for him. She suggests we try to co-parent, split time with him, work together to give him the best life possible. And that sounds great in theory, but it's so damn hard in practice. Because I'm used to making all the decisions about Tyler's life, what he eats, what he wears, what preschool he goes to, what time he goes to bed. And now I've got to consult with Emma on all of this stuff. And sometimes we disagree, and it turns into this whole thing. Like, there was this one time where Emma wanted to take Tyler to visit some of her friends in Phoenix for a weekend. And I freaked out because the last time Emma took off somewhere, she didn't come back for 4 years. What if she decided to just keep him? What if she disappeared again? We got into this huge fight about it, and I said some really mean things that I regretted later. Accused her of being irresponsible and unreliable, threw all her past mistakes in her face. And she cried and said she understood why I didn't trust her, but that she was trying to be better, trying to prove herself. Eventually, I let her take him for the weekend, and they came back just like she promised. But the whole time they were gone, I was a nervous wreck. Couldn't sleep, couldn't focus on anything, just sat by my phone waiting for updates. And the really messed up part? When they got back and Tyler was all excited, telling me about all the fun things they did, I felt jealous. Actually jealous of my own sister for making her son happy. God, this is all so messed up. We've been doing this co-parenting thing for about 6 months now, and we're starting to find a rhythm, I guess. Emma has him 2 nights a week and every other weekend. She's gotten her own apartment now, a nice little 2-bedroom place in a safer neighborhood, and she's got a stable job working as an office manager at a dental practice. She's really trying. I can see that. She's growing up, becoming more responsible, more stable, and I'm proud of her for that. I really am. But it still hurts every time Tyler runs to her with that big smile and calls her by her name, Emma. Not Mom. Not yet. But I know it's coming, and I don't know how I'm going to handle it when it does. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about loving a kid that's not technically yours. Tyler is my son in every way that matters to me. I'm the one who was there for his first steps, his first words. I'm the one who held him when he was sick, who kissed his scraped knees, who taught him his ABCs. But biology matters too, doesn't it? Emma is his mom. His real mom. And she's back now, and she's trying, and Tyler deserves to have a relationship with her. So, where does that leave me? I've started seeing a therapist to help me work through all of this because I was having literal panic attacks about the whole situation. And she's been helpful, I guess. She keeps telling me that it's okay to feel conflicted, that these feelings are normal and valid, and I'm not a bad person for having them. She also keeps suggesting that I need to have an honest conversation with Emma about how I'm feeling. And I know she's right, but I've been avoiding it because I'm scared. Scared of what might happen if I admit out loud that I'm struggling with this whole arrangement. But tonight, I finally work up the courage to talk to her. Emma's dropping Tyler off after having him for the evening, and after he goes running off to his room to play before bedtime, I ask her if she can stay for a minute. We sit down at the kitchen table with cups of tea, and I'm gripping my mug so tight my knuckles are turning white. I need to talk to you about something. And I start, and my voice is already shaking. And I need you to just listen and not get defensive, okay? She nods, looking concerned. Okay, what's going on? And then I just let it all out. I tell her how hard this has been for me, how I'm struggling with sharing Tyler, how jealous and scared and confused I feel all the time. I tell her about the panic attacks and the therapy and the nights where I can't sleep because I'm so worried about losing him. I tell her that I love Tyler more than anything in the world, and that even though she is his biological mother and she has every right to be in his life, it doesn't make it any easier for me to watch someone else take over the role I've been filling for 4 years. By the time I'm done talking, I'm crying, and Emma is crying too, and we're just 2 messed up sisters sitting at a kitchen table trying to figure out how to navigate this impossible situation. I'm sorry, Emma says when I finally stop talking. Jess, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted any of this to be so hard. I know you didn't, but it is hard, Em. It's really, really hard. She reaches across the table and takes my hand. What if we don't call it co-parenting? What if we call it, I don't know, co-momming? I let out a laugh that's half sob. Co-momming? Is that even a word? It is now, she says with a watery smile. Look, the truth is, you are Tyler's mom. You raised him. You loved him. You were there for him when I couldn't be. And I can't ever make up for that, and I don't want to try to replace you. But I'm his mom too, and I want to be part of his life. So why can't he just have 2 moms? Is that so crazy? I think about this for a minute, turning it over in my head. 2 moms. Not a mom and a biological mother, not a mom and an aunt, just two moms who both love him and want what's best for him. What would that even look like? I ask. Emma shrugs. I don't know. We'd figure it out together. Maybe eventually we tell Tyler the truth when he's old enough to understand. But for now, we're just both his moms. We both get to be there for the important stuff. We both get to make decisions together. We both get to love him and raise him together. It's not a perfect solution. Nothing about this situation is perfect or easy or simple. But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Because Emma's right. I am Tyler's mom. I've earned that title through 4 years of sleepless nights and dirty diapers and endless love. And Emma's his mom too, because she gave birth to him and she loves him and she's trying so hard to be better for him. So maybe Tyler doesn't have to choose. Maybe he's lucky enough to have two moms who love him more than anything. Okay, I finally say. Yeah, okay, let's try it. Co-momming. Emma squeezes my hand and smiles, and for the first time in months, I feel like maybe, just maybe, we're going to figure this out. It's not going to be easy. There are still going to be hard days and arguments and moments where I feel like I'm drowning in jealousy or fear, but we're going to try, for Tyler's sake and for our own. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that little boy in the other room who deserves to be loved and cared for by both of us. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that has to be enough.
So here we are, 2 years later, and I gotta tell you, life looks completely different than I ever could have imagined. Tyler's 6 vow, about to start first grade, and he's this incredible little person with his own personality and opinions about everything. He's obsessed with superheroes right now, wears his Spider-Man costume like 3 times a week, and insists that he's going to grow up to be an astronaut who fights crime in space. I don't have the heart to tell him that's probably not a real job. The co-momming thing, it's actually working. Like, really working. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, and there have been plenty of bumps along the way, but Emma and I have figured out how to make it work for us. For Tyler. We ended up getting a formal custody arrangement through the courts just to make everything official and protect everyone involved. It's a 50-50 split, which seemed fair to both of us. Tyler spends half his time at my place and half his time at Emma's, and we coordinate everything through this app on our phones, so we're always on the same page about schedules and doctor's appointments and school stuff. And you know what? Tyler is thriving. He's happy and healthy and doing great in school. His teacher says he's one of the most well-adjusted kids in his class, which honestly blows my mind, considering how complicated his family situation is. We told him the truth about a year ago, about Emma being his biological mom, about what happened when he was a baby. We sat him down together, me and Emma, and we explained it in the most kid-friendly way we could. I was so scared about how he'd react, if he'd be angry at me for not telling him sooner, or if he'd be confused or upset. But you know what he said after we finished explaining everything? So I get 2 moms. That's cool. My friend Jackson only has 1. Kids, man, they're so much more resilient than we give them credit for. He still calls me Mama, and he calls Emma Mom Emma, or sometimes just Emma Mom, which he thinks is hilarious. And he tells people all the time that he has 2 moms and they both love him very much, and he says it with this pride in his voice that makes my heart want to explode. Emma and I have gotten really close again too, which is something I didn't expect. We talk almost every day, not just about Tyler, but about our own lives, our jobs, random stuff. We've become friends again, real friends, in a way we haven't been since before everything fell apart. She told me more about those years she was gone, about how hard it was and how many times she almost came back but was too scared. She's been in therapy too, working through the trauma of that whole situation with Marcus and the guilt she feels about leaving Tyler. And I can see how much work she's put into becoming a better person, a better mom. Marcus, by the way, is serving time in prison for a bunch of stuff that I won't even get into.
Emma doesn't have any contact with him, and we've agreed that Tyler doesn't need to know anything about his biological father until he's much older and can handle that information. Maybe when he's like 30 or 40 or never. Emma's been dating someone new for the past few months, this guy named David, who's actually really great. He's a teacher at a high school, super patient and kind, and he's really good with Tyler. They play video games together, and David helps him with his homework sometimes. I was worried at first about Emma introducing someone new into Tyler's life, but David's been respectful of our whole situation and hasn't tried to overstep or act like he's Tyler's dad or anything. And me? Well, I've actually started dating again, which feels weird after so many years of my life revolving entirely around Tyler. There's this guy named Chris who I met through a friend, and we've been seeing each other for about 4 months now. He's really understanding about the whole complicated family situation, and he's met Tyler a few times, and they get along great. It's nice. Having someone in my life who's just mine, you know? Someone who sees me as Jess, not just as Tyler's mom. I forgot what that felt like. But the best part of all of this, the thing that really matters, is watching Tyler grow up surrounded by so much love. He's got me and Emma, and he's got Emma's boyfriend David, and he's got my boyfriend Chris, and he's got Emma's friends and my friends who've all become like aunts and uncles to him. He's got this huge support system of people who care about him, and even though his family doesn't look like what you'd see on TV or in the movies, it works for us. It's ours, and it's real, and it's full of love. Last week, we had Tyler's 6th birthday party at the park, and it was this big, chaotic event with like 20 kids running around screaming and playing and eating way too much cake. Emma and I were running around together trying to manage everything, laughing at the chaos, working as this seamless team. At one point, Tyler came running up to both of us with frosting all over his face, and he threw his arms around both of our legs and said, "This is the best birthday ever! Thank you, Mama! Thank you, Mom Emma!" And Emma and I looked at each other over his head, and we both had tears in our eyes. And I knew we were thinking the same thing. That somehow, despite everything that happened, despite all the pain and confusion and mistakes, we'd managed to create something beautiful for this kid. After all the kids had left and we were cleaning up the mess of paper plates and deflated balloons, Emma turned to me and said, "You know, I was thinking maybe we should get a place together." I stopped what I was doing and looked at her. "What? Like, live together?" "Yeah," she said, and she had this excited, nervous energy about her. I mean, think about it. Tyler is constantly going back and forth between our places, having to pack a bag every few days, never really feeling totally settled in either place. What if we got a bigger place, like a 3-bedroom, and we all lived there together? He could have his own room, and we'd each have our own rooms, and we wouldn't have to coordinate schedules so much because we'd all just be there. I gotta admit, my first reaction was panic, like living with Emma again after everything. That seemed like a recipe for disaster. But then I really thought about it. Thought about how much easier it would be for Tyler, how he wouldn't have to feel like he's constantly moving between 2 homes. Thought about how much Emma and I have actually been getting along really well, how we've learned to communicate and work together. Thought about how nice it might be to not spend half my time missing Tyler when he's at Emma's place. "That's actually not a terrible idea," I said slowly. "But we'd need ground rules. Like lots of ground rules about privacy and boundaries and how we handle disagreements and all that stuff." Emma nodded enthusiastically. "Absolutely. We could write it all out. Make sure we're on the same page about everything. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to the current arrangement. But I really think it could be good for all of us." So that's what we're doing. We found this great 3-bedroom townhouse in a good school district, and we're moving in next month. Tyler's beyond excited. He already picked out paint colors for his room and everything. He wants it to be blue and red like Spider-Man, which is going to be hilariously bright, but whatever makes him happy. I'm nervous about it, I'm not gonna lie. Living with Emma again after all these years, trying to share parenting duties under the same roof, dealing with each other's boyfriends and personal lives, it's going to be complicated. But you know what? everything about the situation has been complicated from the start, and we've made it work anyway. And the thing is, Emma and I aren't just two people trying to co-parent anymore. We're sisters who went through hell and came out the other side stronger. We're best friends again. We're partners in raising this amazing kid. And yeah, we're both Tyler's moms, but we're also a team. And I think that's going to make all the difference. I think about that night all the time, That Thursday night 4 years ago when Emma showed up at my door with a baby and a diaper bag and disappeared. How terrified and confused and angry I was. How I had no idea what I was doing or how I was going to survive. If you'd told me back then that I'd end up here, co-parenting with Emma, planning to move in together, having this unconventional but beautiful family, I would have thought you were crazy.
But life's funny like that, isn't it? It takes you down these paths you never expected, throws these curveballs you're not prepared for, and somehow you figure it out anyway. You adapt, you grow, you learn to love in ways you didn't know were possible. Tyler asked me the other day if I was sad that he had 2 moms instead of just one. And I told him the truth, that I used to be scared about it. But now I think he's the luckiest kid in the world. Because he doesn't just have 2 moms who love him, he has 2 moms who love each other, who work together, who would do absolutely anything for him. And that's more than a lot of kids get. Emma's not perfect. She made a huge mistake when she left Tyler with me that night. She missed out on years of his life, years she can never get back. And I'm not perfect either. I've made plenty of my own mistakes trying to navigate this whole situation. I've been jealous and petty and scared more times than I can count. But we're trying. We're showing up every day and doing our best for this kid who didn't ask for any of this, but deserves everything. Last night, after we'd put Tyler to bed, Emma and I were sitting on my couch, drinking wine and talking about the move, about logistics and furniture and all that boring adult stuff. And out of nowhere, Emma turned to me and said, "Thank you." "For what?" I asked. She said, "For not giving up on him," she said, and her voice cracked a little. "For stepping up when I couldn't. For loving him the way you did. For giving me a chance to be his mom even after everything I did. For being my sister and my friend and the best co-parent I could have asked for. Just thank you." And I started crying because I'm apparently incapable of having emotional conversations without crying these days. And I said, "Thank you for coming back. Thank you for fighting to be in his life. Thank you for not making me do this alone anymore." We hugged, and it was this moment of just pure gratitude and love and appreciation for each other and for this weird, messy, beautiful situation we've created. Tyler's going to be okay. More than okay. He's going to be great. Because he's got 2 moms who would move mountains for him, who love him more than anything in this world, who are committed to giving him the best life possible, no matter what it takes. And Emma and I, we're going to be okay too. We're going to figure out this whole living together thing, and we're going to keep showing up for Tyler and for each other. And we're going to keep building this unconventional family one day at a time. Is it what I pictured when I imagined my life? Not even close. But it's mine. It's ours. And I wouldn't change it for anything. So, yeah, that's the story of how my sister left her baby with me for one night and never came back. Well, I guess technically she did come back, just 4 years later than promised. And now here we are, about to move in together and raise this kid as a team. As partners, as 2 moms who love the same little boy more than life itself. Life's weird, man. But sometimes the weird stuff turns out to be the best stuff. Tyler's calling from his room now, probably wants another glass of water or has a question about whether sharks can live in swimming pools or something equally random. That's my cue. Being a mom, being one of Tyler's moms, is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's exhausting and overwhelming,
and sometimes I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. But it's also the best thing that ever happened to me. Tyler saved me in a lot of ways, gave my life purpose and meaning I didn't even know I was missing. And getting to watch him grow up, getting to be part of his life, getting to share that with Emma now, it's a gift. An unexpected, complicated, messy, beautiful gift. And I'm going to spend every day being grateful for it. "Coming, buddy," I call out, setting down my wine glass and heading toward his room. Tomorrow, Emma and I are taking Tyler to the zoo. He's been begging to see the penguins for weeks. And then this weekend, we're going to start packing up our apartments, getting ready for the big move. There's so much ahead of us. So many unknowns, so many things that could go wrong, so many challenges we'll have to face. But we'll face them together. The three of us. Our little family. And honestly, I can't wait to see what happens next.